The following segments are pre-recorded and sponsored by Longworth Productions.
Major funding for Triad Today comes from Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina, making healthcare better for all. Holiday safety tips on Triad Today. Hello everyone, I'm Jim Longworth and welcome to another edition of Triad Today, coming to you again from the Kernersville Auto Museum. We'll tell you more about the museum later on, and later on is when the roundtable shows up. We're going to get into some controversial topics with them, so stay tuned. We start off though talking about holiday safety, and we do that with our good buddies, Griff Schuer, David Daggett from Daggett Schuer Law Firm. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hey, Jim.
David, let me start with you. Give us some safe driving tips. I'll get Griff to talk about in the home for in a minute. Safe driving tips for winter.
Yeah, so safe driving tips, they're not all that complicated, and it's a lot of common sense. But first of all, make sure that your car is in good shape, good tires. You could get stuck somewhere, so make sure that, everything works. You have snacks in it, whatever you need. Your windshield wiper fluid is filled up because you may use that more in the winter.
Right.
So you want to make sure your car's in good shape. You want to slow down and keep an eye out for other people. Two reasons for that. One is snow, ice can be a hidden slick spot. I was out running at lunch yesterday, and there was actually an ice spot that I almost didn't see, even though it looked clear. So they can sneak up on you. You got to be careful. And then also, you want to make sure to look out for other people, because you have lots of people who have different driving patterns during the holidays than they usually have. So intersections can be a little more tricky or a little more dangerous.
All right, Griff, take us inside the home.
Yeah, so first thing that comes to mind are trees. Make sure you're watering your tree daily, keeping that. Then you got the lights on the tree. You need to make sure you double check those, make sure they're not, shredded in any way and that type thing. And then I think another big one that you got to watch out a lot at the holidays are candles. Candles smell great. Everybody loves the holiday smell of the candles, but you got to make sure you put them out. You got to make sure that you don't have the candles close to drapes and other things in your house. Absolutely. And so fire hazards are a big thing inside. Got to be careful of.
David, let's go back outdoors. What if you want to or have to do certain things outdoors?
So outdoors, you need to be a little bit more careful. And I know some of this from running. You want to dress warm. You want to dress in layers. You don't want to dress too warm because, if you start sweating and then freeze, that can be dangerous also. Exercise in things that you do, like shoveling snow.
Yeah.
There's a little bit more exertion than you actually realize. If you shovel snow, you should do a few bend overs and warm up a little bit first. You should try to push rather than lift snow, and you should try to take it easy. This is interesting. I wear a heart rate monitor sometimes when I work out, and shoveling snow elevates my heart rate just as much or more than during a workout.
Good Lord. Griff, speaking, let's say workers' comp claims. I mean, are there a lot of work-related injuries in the winter?
There are, and a lot of it is slip and fall on black ice, and we see that very, very often. So when you're, from the point in time that you're, parking your car at your employer and you're walking in, particularly on the sidewalk and that type thing, black ice and people slipping and falling on that is a big, big area of work-related injuries.
David, you and Griff been active in the Safe Sober program for a long time. Very quickly, what about if you're having parties at your house?
Yeah, well, holidays should be the happiest of times with family and friends, and they can turn into an instant tragedy if you make a mistake. So at holiday parties, either don't drink or have a plan for a ride home, those sort of things. Don't let your holiday season turn into a tragedy. Make it healthy and safe for everyone.
Griff, we have a few seconds left. What about pets?
Well, biggest thing is keep them warm. So don't let them outside and in the cold and roaming around for a long period of time. Put sweaters on them when you're out. And the one thing that I think is getting real popular that's good is put booties on their paws, particularly where they are spreading the salt and all that stuff on roads.
I didn't think about that.
If they get that salt on their paws and then they lick them, they can get sick from that. So those little booties on the paws are nice. That's a great stop stocking stuffer.
Yeah, it is. My wife keeps me warm and makes me wear booties so that I don't get on. All right, up on screen, DaggettSchewerLaw.com is the website if you need the help and assistance of these two gentlemen. DaggettSchewerLaw.com, and I appreciate all your help and support throughout the year, guys. And David, you're going to stay over for the roundtable?
Sure. Thanks, Jim.
We'll be right back.
I am so
Why
frustrated.
can no one help me?
Waiting is the worst. I think it's
Healthcare is broken.
At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina, we get it.
Really?
Really. That's why we're making healthcare better for all. Starting with you. Yes, you, Daryl. We're making plans easier to navigate by putting your benefits, prescriptions, and details all in one place. Convinced?
No. But it's a start.
We'll take it. Blue Cross North Carolina. Making healthcare better for all. Starting with you.
You know, it's hard to believe the Safe Sober program has been going strong for over 30 years.
And over 600,000 students have made the pledge to stay safe and sober on prom night. You know, Griff, it's had a huge impact on our community.
Yeah, you're right, David. And now we're making sure the message continues year-round.
So everyone can join us in supporting our students.
Learn more and take the pledge at safesober.com.
The world's brightest are Fulbrights, Goldwaters, McNairs, and Spartans. Prestigious doesn't have to be expensive.
And we know you will make a difference wherever you go.
UNCG. Find your way here.
Back now on Triad Today, we welcome a guest who has been with us many times before in the past, and we welcome, of course, Renee Rohr. She's Director of Marketing for Goodwill Industries of Northwest North Carolina. We first met when you were working with Truliant, now with the Goodwill, and always been a great public servant. Why is this a good time of year to donate to Goodwill?
Well, you know, when we're preparing for the holidays or even after Christmas, a lot of times we have we get new presents, we get new stuff added to our house. So it's a good time to sort of take inventory of what you have and move some of that out. So, yeah.
Yeah, now this can be sort of overwhelming if you say, hey, we heard Renee talking about this on TV. Let's go clean out the garage. Let's go clean out the closets. That can be a little bit overwhelming. Now, how do you get started?
Yeah, well, garage is a good example because we need to do that at my house. One easy way to do that is maybe to look at one shelf or like one corner and start there. Don't get overwhelmed with, if it takes you all day to do that one section. Another idea is to have like a keep pile and then a donate pile and a throwaway pile. And so as you're sort of pulling things off the shelf, you and family members can actually put them into the pile so that at the end it becomes easier to look at what you're donating and that kind of thing.
You should have some extra boxes around from Christmas anyway.
No,
so
that's a good point.
A keep and throw away and a donate.
Exactly.
I like that. Now, what kinds of things we'll get to the can't in a minute. What kind of things can you donate to Goodwill?
Well, you know what? The most important thing that you can donate is clothes. So men's, women's clothing, children's clothing, coats this time of year, sweaters, socks, hats, like anything you can think of. Shoes is a big one, I should mention. A lot of folks don't even realize that we take different shoes. And also like formal dresses, those Christmas party dresses, Christmas sweaters, like all of that you can donate.
And I think it goes without saying that it needs to be lightly used, right? You don't want to have things that have been stuck in the mud for a year or something.
Exactly.
Now, are there items that Goodwill cannot accept?
Well, unfortunately, there are items that we can't accept. A lot of them have to do with baby cribs, car seats, anything that could possibly have been recalled where we don't actually have that information. We're unable to accept those. The giant old TVs like you and I used to work on a long time ago. We can't take those. They're too heavy for our staff to even move. So we have actually a list on our website where people can go and they can get real specific about what we can and can't accept.
I think people will be interested if we just run some numbers here. So this is like a three-part question, but just sort of combine it. How many stores do you operate? How many employees? And how many folks have received training?
Great. Okay. How many stores do we operate? We have 49 stores and 3 outlets.
Wow.
But here in Winston, it's about 8 that we have. How many? Was your next question? How many employees?
How many employees, and then how many people have received training from Goodwill over, let's say, the past year or so?
Right. So we have just under 1,200 employees across 31 counties.
Wow.
And we've helped about 35,000 participants, individuals in our local communities, find job training, finish their education. We help veterans, folks who have been previously involved with the justice system. We really have a variety of programs in partnership with local community colleges and other nonprofits.
People maybe who have been laid off need to try to get a job. People that want to change careers. So a lot of job training out there. We have a few seconds left.
Sure.
Just remind people how, when you're donating these things, you take your box of goods or whatever to donate them. How does that help make everything work?
Right. So actually, your donation of clothing is the fuel that fuels all of our programming. We take those, we sell them in our stores, and that revenue goes directly into helping people find jobs, helping with the education, all the programs that we mentioned.
Right. So you're helping the whole community.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Up on screen, Goodwill, NWNC, which stands for Northwest North Carolina. Goodwill, NWNC.org is the general website. There are lots of portals you can go through in there to find out what's going on with various job training activities and resources, and I hope you will do that. To Renee Rohr, thanks for all your community service.
Thank you, Jim. It's been a pleasure.
All right, we'll be right back after this. Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you that Triad Today also airs on GTN Spectrum Channel 13 and streams on WFMY Plus, free on Roku and Amazon Fire. Back now on Triad Today, and always glad we can spend a few minutes with some folks who work behind the scenes to make such a difference for the folks in their community, and this is an example of that right here. On my immediate right, Samuel Hunter, Director of Housing Strategy and Development for the City of Greensboro. Good to see you again, sir.
Thank you for having me, Jim.
Thanks for coming. Now, let's just start out before we talk about housing and development. Tell us about yourself. Where were you born, and how long have you worked for the city?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in the Triad, specifically in High Point. Went to Southwest Guilford, so family ties throughout the Triad.
Oh, yeah.
Did my undergrad at East Carolina, got my MPA from UNC Greensboro.
All right. Spartan, fellow Spartan.
That's correct.
All right, way to go. All right. Now, what about how long have you worked for the city?
So I started with the city of Greensboro in September, so relatively new.
Okay.
But I was with the city of Winston-Salem for 6 years.
Well, what led you to a career in this field, though? Was it somebody in your family or a teacher or a friend that sort of turned you on to it?
Yeah, so my grandfather, he was a public servant, so really saw kind of the course and the trajectory of his life and his career, so that brought a lot of interest to me, and that's where I got my major in urban planning down in East Carolina, and so I've stuck with it, and I love local government.
That's great. Now, describe the housing stock in Greensboro right now. What are the current needs of the city of Greensboro?
So the housing stock in Greensboro right now, it's very diverse and it's very unique specifically to our jurisdiction. It's not like Charlotte, it's not like Raleigh, but there's a demand for housing, especially with the growth that we're experiencing in the Triad. What we're doing right now on the road to 10,000 is really trying to set an initiative that engages all developers, all partners, and brings a variety of housing to the city of Greensboro. So multifamily, single family, twin home, duplex, a variety of housing is needed.
Yeah, but now, Samuel, what are you doing to help first-time home buyers?
So for first-time home buyers, we have a program that they can get down payment assistance through the city of Greensboro, up to $25,000, and it's a very low barrier of entry for people to receive that assistance. We make it like that because we know people want the quote-unquote American dream of home ownership, so that's something we put in place and we'll fund on a regular basis.
You mentioned the Road to 10,000, that initiative. What role do you play in that endeavor?
So I spearhead that initiative along with the city manager's office, specifically in housing neighborhood development. We really play that pivotal role when it comes to being the community liaison and also navigating through the development process with developers when it comes from a city perspective. So making sure that they understand the financing mechanisms, if they're using city-owned land, how we can help triage that and really provide some assistance there as well. And then also just providing that public communication to everyone, making sure everyone understands what affordable housing is, attainable housing is, and understands the entire landscape of housing in Greensboro.
Well, now, let's sort of look in the crystal ball ahead, maybe 5 years. And by that time, what do you think the city will have accomplished in terms of its housing?
So the largest one is completing the Road to 10,000 initiative. Right now, we're over a quarter of the way there. So we have a little over 2,500 units either constructed or under construction right now. So really making sure that we can complete that initiative, and then also looking at what we can do in the future, and really right our wrongs or learn from the things that we've done previously to really increase that housing stock as well.
We talked about help for first-time buyers in general. How do you think, sort of putting you on the spot, how do you help home buyers in general? Are there ways that they can turn to your department or to the city to advise them or help them along the way? And in this, sometimes it's a volatile market. How do you help in that way?
So really the first thing is to get the down payment assistance, you have to go through a home buyer education course. And that course is designed to talk about long-term maintenance, understanding your financial literacy, and really putting them in a place that even when they do receive the assistance, they do secure their home, that there's things that need to happen after you've secured your home. So really making sure that they're set up for sustainable.
And to make sure that they can do it within their means, and I think that's great. Up on screen, you can visit greensboro-nc.gov is the general website for the city. Greensboro-nc.gov has lots of different portals you can click to for information. But because of folks like Samuel Hunter, things are running smoothly and a lot of great service, and we appreciate the service you give to the community. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, young man. We'll be right back after this.
I got free meals. What do you mean? No, seriously, how much did you pay us? I didn't pay anything. I learned how to cook all of these fresh foods that were delivered to my house. Everything in that grocery bag that's fresh, I had a recipe for it, and I know how to cook. It encouraged us to eat better, to shop better, make better decisions.
Back now on Triad Today, and we welcome back some special guests who've been with us for, I guess it's been a year or so since we've seen them. But on my immediate right, Melissa Hyatt, Executive Director of United Fund of Surrey. Ben Griffin is General Manager of Altech and a board member of United Fund of Surrey. Good to see both of you again.
Good morning.
Good to be here.
Melissa, let's back up a little bit for folks that haven't seen us on here before together. Tell us about United Fund of Surrey. What's your mission and how many agencies do you serve?
The mission of the United Fund of Surrey is to strengthen and serve our community by meeting the needs of our neighbors. We serve 24 programs within the community.
Wow, that's a lot. And now, how are you funded? Because a lot of people have heard of corporate giving, or I'm going to sign up at my place of business or whatever. Can individuals give, or what?
Yes, that would be called a workplace campaign.
Okay.
When you do it through corporate giving, there are also individual donors that answer our solicitation call each year, and then we have community events.
Which brings me to this question. I'm going to get to Ben in just a second, but in general, you've got a big fundraising event coming up. What is it?
Yes, the Bourbon Bonanza on January the 17th.
Bourbon Bonanza. All right, now give me just a little bit of what we're going to see at the Bourbon Bonanza.
The Bourbon Bonanza is a seated dinner where we auction off 10 lots of hard to find top shelf bourbons, and then we also have a live auction on bourbon baskets. So there are two ways to win. You can buy a raffle ticket for those who aren't attending, and then for those who are in attendance, the live auction.
And that should bring a lot of money, and then of course that's going to go right back into the programs because of the 20 plus agencies that you serve, and that helps sustain the mission, right?
That helps a great deal. COVID changed the workplace quite a bit.
Yeah.
A lot of folks went home, so the face of corporate giving campaigns changed, those workplace campaigns. So we have had to work a little harder at fundraising, but this one, I think we found our niche.
Ben, I mentioned, and for folks that saw you on the program before, but I'm going to ask you again just very quickly, what is Altech? Because I've identified you as the general manager there, so let people know about that.
Yeah, so we're a manufacturing company. We build utility equipment, or bucket trucks, cherry pickers you might know them as, for all the major utilities, also municipalities, lights and sign, tree care, those type of industries.
Right. And you've been, of course, you've been on the board for how long?
Oh, gosh, 5 years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you've been at these, how many bourbon events is this?
This will be the fourth one.
Fourth one. And the others, Ben, have the others worked pretty well in terms of, because I don't want to put words in your mouth, but have they raised a lot of money for the?
Yeah, when we started that first one, I think we were maybe a little bit surprised at how well it was received, and it would end up being a great fundraising event for us. And so that's why we've continued to repeat it and grow it.
Let me ask you while I got you here, Ben, a personal question. Why did you get involved with the United Fund of Surrey? Because as a general manager of Altech, your schedule is loaded up. You're very busy. Mm-hmm. Why make time for that to be on the board?
Well, so my company supports it. In fact, it's one of our missions to be good corporate citizens in the communities where we work. And one great way to do that is to be part of the United Fund. And it's a great way to maximize your dollar. You know, we 24 different programs in agencies that are in crisis management, family, medical, and our seniors. And so
rescue squads. I mean, you help a lot of people.
You can donate one place, and that dollar gets used in several areas around the community in these various programs.
Melissa, I'm going to show on screen in just a minute the details about Bourbon Bonanza. But before I do that, very quickly, you said dinner. So I mean, this is going to be a big deal. Refreshments. I mean, a lot of stuff going on there that night, right?
We have a seated dinner. We have the event at Cross Creek Country Club in Mount Airy. We have local distillers that'll be available for tastings to, you know, identify new bourbons or new whiskeys that you like.
Okay.
And then also we have a young lady that you're familiar with, I believe, Laura Ashley.
Yes.
Her live art. That always is a big draw for the event.
What a great thing.
Yes.
All right, up on screen, Bourbon Bonanza to raise money for United Fund of Surrey. It's a great cause. Saturday, January 17th. Cross Creek Country Club in Mount Airy, as Melissa mentioned. The general website you can go to is unitedfundofsurrey.org. That's easy to remember, unitedfundofsurrey.org. And as you said, if you can't attend, that's all right. You can still bid on some of these items,
You can buy a raffle ticket on the lots.
Melissa and Ben, thanks for all y'all do.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you.
it. We'll be right back. Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you to catch my column Longworth at Large and Yes Weekly every week. It's available throughout the Triad, or you can go online, yesweekly.com. Major funding for Triad Today comes from Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina, making healthcare better for all. Back now on Triad Today, just about time for the roundtable, but a quick shout out to the good folks here at the Kernersville Auto Museum. You got to come out here. It's free to come out Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So much to see. I hope you'll do that. Now to the roundtable. Ogie Overman, who is in his holiday festive coat, as you can see that. Can you see that okay, TJ? You can see his coat there. And David Daggett, we held over from earlier. Keith Granberry, founder of Helping Hands Consultants. Guys, on a serious note, last week a North Forsyth High School student was killed by a fellow student during a knife fight which took place in the school bathroom. Until now, the school system has used metal detectors selectively, but it would cost $2 million extra to equip all the schools. Two questions. One, will taxpayers support paying for metal detectors in every school? And two, this is going to sound really stupid, but I'm going to ask it anyway, should schools install security cameras in bathrooms? Okay.
Well, I think they should have metal detectors, but given their financial dire straits they're in, I don't think they will support it.
What about security cameras?
I don't like any bath. That's too intrusive. I don't like that.
It's terrible that we even have to talk about these questions. I think it's probably time for metal detectors everywhere, in every school. It's unfortunate, but I think that's the time and place we live in. Cameras in bathrooms, absolutely not.
Keith?
Metal detectors in school are needed, and I think that you need more security officers or school officers that are in the schools that would deter something like that.
All right. Meanwhile, it turns out that a number of students filmed that deadly fight but did nothing to stop it. Others just stood around and watched and sharing it on social media. The police are angry about this. Should those students be charged with anything, Ogie?
Well, I don't think you can charge cowardice, but you could pass a law saying if you put violent confrontations online, that could be a crime.
David?
I agree with Ogie. There are bystander protections under the law, so I don't think they can be charged with any crimes. However, I think we've evolved with social media to the point that we need to put in more regulations and guidelines that cover situations like this.
Keith?
I think that you have to put in more guidelines. I think that you can't charge them. I think sometimes jumping into something like that could get more people hurt. But I do think that there should be guidelines around what you're posting and what you do with that material.
They at least should have put the doggone phone camera down and gone and gotten the school resource.
And again, that's why I think there need to be more security officers trained. When I say that, they have to be trained.
Going back to what David said, the Australian government has banned kids under 16 from having access to social media. Would you like to see the United States follow that example, Ogie Overman?
Yeah, a book just came out called The Amazing Generation that advocates that very thing. Keep them out of their hands till they're 16.
David?
I don't disagree with that concept. I don't know that we want to regulate that. However, I go back to what happens is our regulatory framework lags behind our technological innovation.
Absolutely.
And the regulatory framework needs to catch up so that we can protect society.
Ban social media.
I want to know how they're banning it in Australia, how they're monitoring this ban, because it seems like it's almost impossible to monitor a ban like
China
that.
figured it out. I guess Australia did the same thing. Ohio Senator Bernie Moreno has proposed a bill called the Exclusive Citizenship Act. If it passed, the act would end the practice of dual citizenship. Moreno says any citizen of the United States who is also a foreign citizen could create a conflict of interest. You okay with ending dual citizenship?
Oh, his name ought to be Bernie Moron. I got plenty of friends who have dual citizenship.
You're okay with that?
He's just trying to curry favor with he who shall remain unnamed.
That's right, David.
Yeah, well, he who shall remain unnamed, I think, has a spouse with dual citizenship.
Yeah. Yes.
But this is for headlines. This law will never pass. There's no way in the world it's practical. People who have parents in other countries, people who have land and inheritance, there's all sorts of legal complications. On top of the fact, the United States government doesn't have an institution to monitor this, so we would have to add to the U.S. bureaucracy, which is already getting worse.
Dual citizenship?
I think you definitely need to keep dual citizenship. I don't think it doesn't make sense not to have it.
Okay, finally, the owner of an Airbnb in Turkey has a rule that couples can only use the beds for sleeping. Guys, would you stay in a place that you could only use the bed for sleeping, Ogie?
That reminds me of that commercial with Nick Saban in there, Randy. You can't get in the spa and you can't have any fun. You know,
not a good idea. David,
I would not do that.
Yes, I could use a long night's sleep.
So you just sleep?
I would like to hibernate for a while, and it sounds like a good place to go.
Would you rent a place where you can only allowed to sleep in the bed?
Why would I do that? That doesn't make sense to me.
Why would you rent it, or
why would I do that?
You wouldn't get your deposit back. That's your problem.
He's much younger than that.
Why would I do
that?
Yeah, why would I do
deposit back. Well, that's all the time we have, except for this. Last week, a San Francisco woman gave birth inside of a driverless taxi. And what it proves is that even a taxi company that doesn't have employees shows that there's no labor shortage. She was having labor in the.
Right.
Santa's not coming to y'all's house. For all of us here on Triad Today, have a good holiday. I'm Jim Longworth. We'll see you next time.